Have you ever thought,
Wow, Duke Fishron's weapons are so useful, but he's so difficult to kill. That's why I won't kill him after Golem.
probably not, but still. There is a forbidden technique that involves harsh and calculated acts. A technique that is high risk but gives really good reward. A technique that was forged and passed down by the greatest of the great. A technique that is just breaking progression. Basically, where normally kill the mech bosses and then move on to Plantera, the moment you are ready to kill one of the mech bosses, you take on Duke Fishron instead, and if you're successful, you have acquired Perpetuous weapons. Also, I'll be including Calamity mod here because why not? When I say progression, I mean the order the boss checklist mod lays out to us, like this. Now, why should you break progression? Well, it's useless to do progression breaks, it's probably faster to just follow the progression normally, but me, personally, I like to break progression because it's fun and difficult since you gotta fight a boss and they're geared. I'll only be talking about my top 3 favorite progression breaks, because 1, they were my first progression breaks, and 2, by doing them, I got good. Note that all I say here is directed towards death mode. Within the pre-hard mode of Aquatic Seas lies a powerful yet peaceful beast that has endured the harsh challenge of adaptation. Its existence is the sole reason why Aquatic storms are not that dangerous. However, that is about to change. The Aquatic Scourge was my first progression break in my entire experience with Terraria in general. In my humble words, you're not really fighting him, it's more like you're fighting your reaction time and situational awareness, because this fight will show you how much situational awareness you actually have. God, I cannot stress enough how many times I've died because of a simple spinning attack. I mean, of course, there's no fucking telegraph for it, how am I supposed to know when he's going to spin? Okay, there might have been a specific timer, but I'll ignore that for the sake of feeling like I'm right. Or what about when you're going down to dodge an attack, so you have to, and I kid you not, pray so that no same teeth hit you. Oh boy, I love me some fast moving projectiles that are not visible and it's almost impossible to react to. Alright, impossible might be a stretch, but still. And then there's the music. God, the music. I think I've mentioned before in one of my videos, though I'm not sure if anyone actually read that description, how much I love OSTs. Outcast of Sulphur Seas, the theme of the Aquatic Scourge, is basically a remix of the Guardian of the Former Seas. Sounds similar, right? But the best part, it fits perfectly with the fight itself. From my perspective, the fight feels like a more strategic battle that descends into whatever, go random bullshit attacks. I'm not going to say it's like chess, but it reminds me of fighting the Desert Scourge. Except now the boss is quote unquote back, stronger and more dangerous. At first, it's weak, easy to predict, easy to handle, you know the deal. But differently from the Desert Scourge, as the fight proceeds, you gain faster attacks, and then you get hit once, it's overtone. It's not fast in a typical sense though. Maybe the phrase I'm looking for is aggressive but calculated? Yeah, the music's got this high BPM, perhaps around 190, which sets a much faster tone than the Guardian of the Former Seas. The vibe is different too. Outcast of the Sulphur Seas, as I mentioned before, feels like it belongs in a more calculated, deliberate kind of scenario, while the Guardian of the Former Seas feels like it belongs in a more chaotic or meant to be moment. I don't know if I'm making sense at this point, but surely one of you gets what I mean, right? According to the boss checklist mod and the wiki, he's intended to be fought in hard mode. But that's not what we're actually gonna be doing. To summon him, you either wait for him to spawn naturally, the boring way, or you use seafood. To craft it, you need 20 silver sand, found in the Sulphur Sea, 10 starfish, found in the ocean or acquired by killing the Desert Scourge, and 5 shark fins. You just gotta kill sharks for them. Once you have crafted the seafood, you want to go to the Sulphur Sea and use it, summoning the Aquatic Scourge. Or, well, the passive version of him. Just attack him and the real fight will start. Well, it was quite foolish to fight him without any gear, huh? Let's talk about it. So if you're playing as a melee, you might want to use a legendary Broken Biome Blade, Ungrove and Tender's Touch attunement. The armor should be Static Gel armor. The accessories should be Terra Spark boots, Skyline wings, Shield of Cthulhu or Counter Scarf, Stinger necklace or the Shark Tooth necklace, and the Bloody Worm Tooth. I prefer to put all accessories on menacing, but it's up to you really. Okay, quick note, if you're actually melee, you're gonna suffer a shit ton because there are no good melee weapons against Aquatic Scourge in pre-hard mode. Consider that a warning, perhaps even a death threat. Plus, its melee weapon kinda sucks, so it's not worth it. If you're a ranger, you might want to use an Embryo archer fish with musket balls. The armor should be the Stagio armor. The accessory should be Terra Spark boots, Skyline wings, Shield of Cthulhu or Counter Scarf, Radiant Ooze, and Stinger necklace or Shark Tooth necklace. Now, if you're range, you might want to use the Mystical Nice Ray. The armor should be Stagio armor. The accessories should be Terra Spark boots, Skyline wings, Shield of Cthulhu or Counter Scarf, Brain of Cthulhu or Worm Scarf, and the Arcane Flower. No, you can use literally any other accessory you want instead of the Brain of Cthulhu or the Worm Scarf. I just have it there mainly because the Brain of Cthulhu saves me a lot, but it's up to you. Now, if you're a summoner, you might want to use a Legendary Spinal Tap and the Mystical Heron Staff. Maybe a Hauntius Shugias if you want. I don't really like using it because it kinda sucks, but it's up to you. The armor should be the Stagio armor, the accessories should be Terra Spark boots, Skyline wings, Shield of Cthulhu or Counter Scarf, Pygmy necklace, and Jelly Charged battery. Now if you're a rogue, you might want to use a Flawless Kylie for spam, and the Flawless Enchant Axe for stealth attacks. The armor should be the Stagio armor, the accessories should be Terra Spark boots, Skyline wings, Shield of Cthulhu or the Counter Scarf, Toothy gloves, and the Stinger necklace, or the Shark Tooth necklace. Now for the buffs, use any and all buffs you can. I'm not joking. The arena should have 3 floors, not including the ground. Try to not go to space or else it will be difficult to fall faster. Use at least campfires if you can, but it takes too long to grind for. Use other buff stations if you want. For the fight, you should let the Aquatic Scourge come to you, don't chase him. However, the moment he finally approaches, hold its head, not tail or body, its head for a bit and keep attacking as much as you can. If it starts spinning, just go away, but be careful because it will spew all sulfuric acid mist around itself until it stops spinning. Keep an eye out for the Sentive. They are homing projectiles, however they stop homing after a short while. Once it goes below 75% HP, you can start vomiting out several sand poison clouds in a circular spread. When it goes below 50% HP, you can stop sending out Sentive, but you can start vomiting out toxic clouds whenever it starts spinning. They do not home but do a lot of damage. When below 25% HP, you could get desperate and use everything in its arsenal to kill you. So the Sentive come back and the toxic clouds stay. Also, the Sentive will get faster, so you have to adapt to that somehow. I didn't. If everything goes well, bada beam, bada boom, you have broken progression by 4 bosses. According to the boss chat list, list. Melees get Submarine Shocker. Quite useless for the Wall of Flesh, but really useful for the Destroyer. Gets overshadowed by other stuff though, useful until post-mech bosses. The Rangers get the Sea Siren, a really good weapon that uses no ammo. Useful until post-Plantera, don't fight Columnfit. There's also the Baronautical, but it gets overshadowed by the Sea Siren. Mages get the Downpour, a good weapon for crowds, therefore a good weapon against the Wall of Flesh and the Destroyer. Not really useful after the mech bosses though. Summoners get the Deep Sea Staff, a good summon, good against the Wall of Flesh, good against the mechs, but the Sanguine Staff is just too overpowered, useful until post-Plantera. Rogues get the Scourge of the Seas, really good weapon, I love it, good for both spam and stealth attacks. Might be useful against Golem, who knows. Rogues also get the Corrosive Spine, really good accessory overall, not gonna lie. Only a fool would see the truffle worm and think to cast it as bait. Yet among such fools is the rare soul who lives to witness what lurks beneath, and escapes to tell the tale. Ah yes, the Duke Fishron, the most disrespected boss in all of Terraria. In terms of progression breaking! I mean, his moves are kind of predictable, easy to learn, no wonder why I see a lot of people always killing him in Remax. But we're talking about death mode of Fishron though, so he's bound to be difficult, right? I mean, that boss is supposed to be fall post golem, so surely he's gonna be even more difficult, right? He has 4 phases now. The 4th one, being the new one, is a desperation phase, where he just dashes at you without summoning anything when he goes below 20% HP. Maybe a couple of teleports here and there, but mainly just dashing at you. Sure, talking is easy, but what about the fight itself? If you already broke progression in the vanilla game, the fight is gonna be easier than talking, I can guarantee you that. You just need to see what new stuff he does and you should be good to go. But to those that are new to this, you are gonna suffer. a lot. Also, I recommend that you use the Inferno Music mod, as Pimpy Neon absolutely cooked with the Duke Fishron music. Now, here are the classes. If you're melee, you might want to use the Celestial Claymore, the Palladium Armor, the Tarspar Boots, the Fairy Wings, the Bloody Worm Scarf, the Deep Diver, the Leg Splitter Pauldron, and the Warrior Emblem. If you're a ranger, you might want to use the Toxicarp, the Meow Thrower, the Palladium Armor, the Tarspar Boots, the Fairy Wings, the Amalgamated Brain, the Deep Diver, the Leg Splitter Pauldron, and the Ranger Emblem. Now if you're a mage, you might want to use the Orange Zapnager, the Golden Shower, the Palladium Armor, the Tarspar Boots, the Fairy Wings, the Amalgamated Brain, the Deep Diver, the Leg Splitter Pauldron, and the Arcane Flower. If you're a summoner, you might want to use the Cool Whip, the Sanguine Staff, the Spider Armor, the Tarspar Boots, the Fairy Wings, the First Shadow Flame, the Deep Diver, the Summoner Emblem, and the Jelly Charger Battery. And if you're a rogue, you might want to use the Cursed Dagger for spam, the Icar Spear for stealth, the Titanheart Armor, the Tarspar Boots, the Fairy Wings, the Rogue Emblem, the Deep Diver, the Mirage Mirror, and the Leg Splitter Pauldron. The arena should be the same as the Aquatic Scourges, 3 floors counting the water. Use any and all buff stations you can and do not go to space. For Duke Fishron's first phase, he'll basically be the same as vanilla. 5 dashes, bubbles, 5 dashes, Sharknadoes. However, he spawns 3 water bolts in a triangular motion that will spawn Sharknadoes. Note that the ones that go to the top will start attacking first, and then the bottom ones will start attacking shortly after. Sometimes 2 Sharknadoes will go to the top and 1 will go to the bottom, and sometimes the order is inverted. And of course, the Sharknadoes will throw shark runs at you. Here's a strat that I like to do, let's call it the corner strat for simplicity's sake. Make the Duke Fishron go to a corner of the arena and fight him until he spawns the Sharknadoes. Abuse the rain dashes. Once he does, change corners. That'll make it so the Sharknadoes won't be a problem. If you're melee, when Duke Fishron stops to summon the Sharknadoes, you should true melee him to maximize damage. Note that the Duke Fishron cannot deal contact damage until he does his first dash after spawning the water bolts. If you're Ranger, when the Duke Fishron finishes his dashes and is about to summon the bubbles, pull out the Meow Thrower and attack for like 2 seconds. That'll nullify the bubbles attack. If you're a mage, occasionally switch to the Golden Shower to inflict the Icar debuff on Duke Fishron. I know that's common, but some people don't really do that, aka me when I was new. If you're a rogue, standing still will make your stealth meter charge faster. Abuse that when Duke Fishron stops to summon his Sharknadoes, as the Cursed Dagger's stealth attack summons a vortex of cursed flames that damages anything inside of it, and the Icar Spear stealth attack impales itself on the enemy and explodes 10 times. When Duke Fishron's HP goes below 70%, he'll enter phase 2. His speed and overall aggression will be increased, and of course he'll gain new attacks. It will be as follows: 3 dashes, bubbles, 3 dashes, Mega Sharknado! Instead of summoning bubbles like a normal fish, he'll instead do way too much by spinning, summoning bubbles, and shark runs. Now you might be wondering why I said Mega Sharknado instead of just Sharknado. It's because Duke Fishron will summon a singular water bolt projectile that will follow you, increasing its speed as it moves. If it doesn't touch you, if it doesn't reach you in a certain amount of time, it will just pop itself and summon the Mega Sharknado. Its size, damage, and linger time are increased, and so are the shark run size and damage too. Lord have mercy. If you get comboed by it and the Duke Fishron's dashes, you're better off just restarting the fight if you didn't die. Normally, I'd try to do the corner strat in second phase, go one singular fumble and you're done, no matter the size of the fumble. So what I like to do is make sure the Sharknadoes will be summoned at the 3rd floor of the arena, and then I just go below it and keep running to make sure no shark runs will hit me. Also, when Duke Fishron is about to spit out a water bolt, just stay close to him no matter what class you are, so the water bolt instantly hits you, summoning the Mega Sharknado. Always make sure that the Mega Sharknado will spawn as early as possible, because they can stack, and you don't want 2 Mega Sharknadoes in your arena. If you're melee, good luck. If you're a ranger, stop doing the Meow Thrower strat. If you're a mage, good luck. If you're a summoner, give up. And if you're a rogue, good luck. Interestingly enough, I consider his second phase the hardest out of all 4 phases. I mean, he's just doing too much. When Duke Fishron's HP goes below 40%, he'll enter phase 3. In that phase, the background darkens and Duke Fishron somehow is able to become invisible. After the transformation, he'll dash once and then teleport either to your top left or top right. It's random, I'm pretty sure. The attack pattern is as follows: 1 dash, teleport, 2 dashes, teleport, 3 dashes, teleport. According to the wiki, every 10 seconds he'll summon a water bolt that works the same way as it works in the second phase. If you're using the Deep Diver, just dash into him. the moment he dashes through. Don't go by your eye, go by a timing, like this. Otherwise you're cooked. Okay, if you're for some reason not using the deep diver, you should dash away from him. Every time, dash away. Now, when the Duke Fission's HP goes below 20%, he'll enter phase 4, his desperation phase. He'll start dashing at you non-stop. No teleporting, no Sharknadoes, no nothing, only raw and unfiltered contact damage. If you get hit twice, say goodbye to your last 5 minutes spent on this fight, because you're definitely gonna get hit that third time. It's like a curse. If you still are not using the deep diver, good fucking luck on dodging. I'm for real, his first phase feels impossible to rain dash. Like, just use the deep diver, please. If everything goes well, then you have broken progression by 12 bosses. Nice one. The melees get the Fishron and the Briny Baron. Both really good weapons, with the Fishron being useful until looking the Moon Lord. Now, the Briny Baron is a fun case. I don't really like its secondary projectile attack, as the Fishron is just better than it, but its true melee strike is particularly powerful, since it can destroy crowds and warm bosses. Rangers get the Tsunami, a bow that shoots 5 arrows at once that has extremely high damage. That's it, good until you kill the Moon Lord. Mages get the Razor Blade Typhoon and the Bubble Gun, my favorite weapons in the entire game. The Razor Blade Typhoon shoots a big projectile that hunts onto enemies and it can pierce as well, disappearing after hitting enemies enough times after a certain amount of time. The Bubble Gun is extremely OP at close range, since if you make all the bubbles hit, you do a lot of DPS. Both good until you kill the Moon Lord. Summoners get the Tempest Staff. Good summon, but it's kinda underwhelming due to its inaccuracy. You have better options to fight the Moon Lord with, but until then, it'll carry you a lot. Useful until the Celestial Pillars. Bros get the Duke's Decapitator. Really good stealth and spam attack, really good for slow moving targets like Pantera or worm bosses like us from Deus. The trade-off is that it kinda sucks against fast moving targets like the Duke Fishron himself. Good until you finish the Celestial Pillars event. Now, for everyone, there's the Fishron Wings. Boy oh boy, where do I even begin? Fishron Wings, honey, my Pookie Bear. I have loved you ever since I first laid eyes on you. The way you drive into my accessory slot and strike fears into your enemy's eyes. Your beautiful smooth way of flying around projectiles, and that gorgeous flight time. I will do anything for you. What? You thought they were be cinematic? Nah, I'm just chilling here, fishing. Not with the bloodworm though, I've learned my lesson from the truffle worm. Oh, I could farm some money. And finish. What the fuck is this? Yo Duke, fading legend, and also a fucking easy boss for his stage of the game, like goddamn. Generally, the first time I beat him I was playing with Brook and it was by accident. Then after that it was solo on Inferno, which was also by accident. So that just goes to show how like, you know, like, feel me? Okay, now sit me down, tell me to look at the flowers, but fighting him is hella fun. Hey, I said it, I'm not gonna act like I'm wrong because I'm not. Unsubscribe, dislike the video, report it, I still think fighting him is fun. Also, his music is at least in the top 5. How do you listen to this? And then go, nah, yeah, this shit is ass. Fighting him is like fighting the Duke Fishron, except he predicts your dashes and his quote-unquote Sharknado is somewhat less annoying. So if you manage to kill the Duke Fishron Ramax, you're not gonna struggle as much with him. The fight still goes on for like 7 minutes though. Matter of fact, I even have the clip right here, hold on. See? It's not even that difficult. Wait, 3 minutes? How was it 3 minutes? What? Wait, Providence isn't even dead, so how did I kill the Ceaseless Void? You can craft the rune, of course? How did I not notice that while doing the cinematic? I mean, I literally killed Providence in the cinematic. You know what? We'll just kill the Profane Guardians, roll the class setups or whatever. So if you're melee, you might want to use the Solstice Claymore, the Solar Flare Armor, the Solar Wing, the Celestial Shell, Blood Pact, the Asgard's Valor, Fire Gauntlet, the Absorber, and the Rare Banner of the Sun. Now if you're ranger, you might want to use the Planetary Annihilation with Wooden Arrows, the Lunatic Scarp Armor, the Celestial Tracers, the Deadshot Booch, the Blood Pact, the Asgard's Valor, the Dynamo Stem Cells, the Reckon Scope, and the Absorber. Now if you're mage, you might want to use the Effervescence, the Mad Alchemist Cocktail Glove, the Nebula Armor, the Nebula Mantle, the Sigil of Calamitas, the Blood Pact, the Asgard's Valor, the Arcane Flower, the Permafrost Concoction, and the Absorber. Now if you're summoner, you might want to use the Kaleidoscope, the Elemental Axe, the Rainbow Crystal Staff, the Valhalla Knight Armor, or the Stardust Armor if you don't feel like farming for the Valhalla Armor, the Celestial Tracers, the Aquatic Scourge, the Blood Pact, the Asgard's Valor, the Star Tinted Generator, the Ambrosian Pole, and the Absorber. Now if you're rogue, you might want to use the Elemental Disc, no stealth, just spam, the Empyrean Armor, the Empyrean Mantle, the Glove of Precision, the Blood Pact, the Asgard's Valor, the Moonsun Crown, the Ambrosian Pole, and the Absorber. Yeah, Green is always gonna be the same, 3 floors, but this time not counting the water. Do it like this. As always, try to not go to space, and if you do, get out there as soon as possible, trust me. In his first phase, the Old Duke will dash 3 times. He'll try to predict your position and dash, so you should either outrun him or dash into him to prevent being hit. After 3 dashes, he'll spit out 5 tooth balls which will target you for about 15 seconds before it explodes to 6 tooth ball spikes in a circle, along with a sulfur cloud at the center of the explosion. If you manage to kill the tooth ball, it'll explode as well. After that, he'll dash 3 more times and then he'll stop and summon 2 groups of sulfur sharkrons, one coming from the left and the other coming from the right. They will track your position for a few seconds, so watch out for that. He'll occasionally get exhausted, extending in place and huffing 4 times. After 4 huffs, he'll go back into attacking you. Once the Old Duke reaches 80% HP, he'll get 25% damage reduction, and to signal that he changed phases, will fire 6 sulfur sharkrons upwards, entering phase 2. His speed and dash also get faster. He dashes 2 times now and does the spinning attack that now summons a giant sulfurous vortex that can suck you up. It will linger for quite some time. After that, he'll dash 2 more times again before summoning the same 2 groups of sulfurous sharkrons, along with vomiting a large amount of sulfurous gore chunks, which are affected by gravity and don't seem to target you. Once Old Duke reaches 50% health, he'll again gain 25% more damage reduction, shooting 6 sulfur sharkrons up to signal his phase 3 and targeting you once again. The attack cycle from phase 1 and phase 2 get mashed together. The only addition is his grid speed and dash speed and the teleport. He'll teleport after 2 dashes. Always save the rage and adrenaline for when the Old Duke gets exhausted, as it takes way more damage along the way. Once he's exhausted, pop both rage and adrenaline, or just one of them if you don't have both, and spam attack him with everything you got. Always dash into him when he's in second phase and is about to do the first dash. If you do it correctly, the second dash is probably not gonna hit you if you run away. Don't focus on killing the tooth balls, it's useless. Be prepared for unexpected projectiles. If you're melee, true melee Old Duke as soon as you get exhausted, even if you don't have rage or adrenaline. If done correctly, you should be able to deal around 11k DPS. If you're a mage, occasionally switch to the Mad Alchemist Cocktail Glove and press right click to throw a flash that will debuff the fuck out of the Old Duke. If you're a summoner, focus mainly on your Rainbow Crystal Staff as it can deal incredible DPS, going up to 10k DPS if you're using the Valhalla Knight Armor. And if you pop Adrenaline and Rage while the Old Duke is exhausted, 60k DPS. So whenever the Old Duke stops to do something, summon the Rainbow Crystals at him. If you're rogue, good luck. You'll need it as the elemental hides basically all projectiles. The above average DPS makes it worth it though. If everything goes well, you have broken progression by 8 bosses. Melees get Insidious Impaler, a good weapon all things considered. Its projectiles stick to enemies and explode after a short while, dealing extra damage. Moving to Devourer, as you have better options to deal with the Devourer of Gods. Rangers get the Ferret Amethyst, a good weapon that do a lot of burst damage and is viable until Devourer, because there are better options than it for the Devourer of Gods, and the Septic Skewer, which is even better if you manage to hit the returning projectile. If not, then it's just worse than the Ferret Amethyst. It might be good against the Devourer of Gods, I don't know. Mages get the Vitrolic Viper, surprisingly high DPS mage weapon, all things considered. It might be viable to use it against the Devourer of Gods too. Summoners get the Mutated Truffle, an extra summon that occupies 3 minion slots and has 3 attack cycles. Dashing, where the Baby Boomer dash into enemies dealing damage. Tooth Balls, where the Baby Boomer will spit out tooth balls that pierce, exploding shortly after 2 seconds into homing teeth. and the Sulfurous Vortex, where the Baby Boomer will spin out the target, summoning a Sulfurous Vortex that slowly chases enemies, dealing contact damage. Then it will reset the cycle. And the Cadaverous Carrion, a Centaur that quickly shoots out homing Sulfurous Fish at the enemies, dealing high damage. The Mutated Truffle is usable until Predevour, while the Cadaverous Carrion is the last Centaur you use to finish progression, so you can use it until the very end of the game. Rogues get the Toxicant Twister, a weapon that homes and pierces infinitely. It returns after hitting an enemy though. Its stealth attack makes it so the projectile homes faster and rapidly releases sand? And the Old Reaper, the cooler but rarer rogue drop from the Old Duke that homes on enemies. Its stealth strike makes you throw 3 at once. Apparently they deal 45% base damage through stealth strike though. And that's everything I wanted to show, so overall is it worth breaking progression? FUCK NO! Hey, thanks for watching to the end. I'm surprised you managed to watch through everything after the first section, the Aquatic Scourge. I don't know, I find it quite boring, but I don't want to remove it now. Well, I don't usually do this, but since you're here, consider liking and subscribing. That will help me out a lot. Have a nice day. We should fight more around the gear, huh? Let's talk about it. So if you're playing as a melee, you might want to use a legendary Brook and Python Blade on Grove and Tender Touch attunement. The armor should be static